fatal heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet now. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, Izuku Carter. He has been assigned as the bodyguard of Sayako Intelli, the daughter of two very important people on the high table. Now, Midoriya, he met a specialist who wiped Intelli's entire memory of certain events that would link her parents to the high table and possibly cause suspicion. The specialist has done this multiple times, and he even demonstrated how quickly he can take down Midoriya. Now, with that being said, we will pick up about 5 to 6 months later, where Midoriya, he is actually walking to the front door. As he would open it, and Intelli would walk right past him. Midoriya clicking the button for his vehicle. Intelli actually watching as, well, the very old car in front of her does actually make a sound, before walking over and opening it up, and getting inside the passenger seat. Midoriya walking around onto the driver's side and getting in. As he does go to turn over the vehicle, Intelli does actually just look at him a bit strangely. So, you are allowed to drive, correct? Yes, I have a license. How did you get a license? We're the same age, aren't we? Yeah. And? Well, I'm just confused. Then don't worry about it. Besides, with my line of work, having a license isn't really crucial. I have a license for this, yes, but then I have multiple licenses for a lot of things. So just do not worry about it, Miss Intelli. Now, as Midoriya does begin to drive, he actually does have his phone ring. As he does actually look down at the number, he does just reach into the center console and plug it into something, before pulling a wire out of the center console and putting an earpiece in his ear. As Intelli just does look at this a bit confused, realizing that Midoriya plugged in some sort of Bluetooth device, possibly, or something that does connect his phone to his car. As Midoriya does continue driving. Hello? Oh, hey Mom. No, I'm still on assignment. Yeah? Okay, I understand. Well, if you're gonna go be doing that, then I guess you can just go do that without me. Yes, it's who I told you about. No, I can't go into any more detail. Because you understand why. No, Mom, you can't be with me. Midoriya, continuing on his small little tangent, as he does eventually hang up. Now, Intelli does just look confused, asking if he's having problems with his mother. No. It's none of that. But we haven't seen each other in a long time. Midoriya thinking the next few words. It's not for the lack of trying, however. The simple fact that he went to go get his car was already suspicious enough. However, this vehicle might be the best option in case things do go bad. Him then explaining to Intelli that she just needs to not worry about it. As he does park the car, and they both get out, asking her exactly what did she want to come here for anyways, as they would both walk into the public library. Now, Until they would go on saying that she did actually want to buy a few books that she does know are here. And she even did hear that they just recently restocked yesterday. Now, Midoriya, he doesn't really care. However, as they do walk in, Midoriya is looking around and scanning, trying to look and see for any suspicious people. There's not really very many people out of place. In fact, well, let's see. There is a couple who are staying by a rail, or by a rail that does lead directly past where the books are on the shelves. Then there's a brown-haired girl who is sitting down and currently reading something, as she also does at least have a latte or possibly a coffee with her, something in a cup. And there is a few more people spread out. Midoriya actually looking around and seeing a black-haired guy who is just reading. And well, he's wearing a sweater and does have earphones in possibly. He does at least see a wire poking up from his jacket. And there is a few other odd people. Now, Midoriya, he does at least just follow close to Intelli, as she would just walk around and begin to look for books. Her handing each book she does find to Midoriya, who feels more like he is a assistant rather than a bodyguard. Intelli then at least walking over to the front desk and asking if they do have these books, and then these books. Her listing off somewhere between 20 books and possibly 100, since she does seem to be very excited by these subjects. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he does ask Intelli if she's going to really be buying all of these. Yes, I am. A lot of the subjects I do have here are actually very interesting. Look, even this one. Her holding up a book, saying that it even talks about a secret society. Midoriya almost biting his tongue for a minute, and almost completely shocked. Oh, really? A secret society? Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, just think about it though. Are they even real? Oh, so she doesn't remember. Yeah, I mean, it's weird to think about though, like a shadow organization taking over the world, paying attention to everything, right? Totally. It just doesn't make sense. How would it all work? How does it all function? How does it all cooperate? Do they use special currency? Midoriya wanting to laugh. A lot. As Intelli does have her books ringed up. Before they do go to head back to the car. Midoriya putting all these books, which they did have to put in a lot of bags, into the back of his trunk. As they do go shopping more and more. Now, Midoriya does at least keep his eyes open. And after about an hour or two, Midoriya does notice that somebody has been following them. Somebody from the library. Now, with that being said, whenever Intelli and Midoriya are actually walking by someplace, Midoriya does see the person peek out from an alleyway. And he does actually use his quirk to find out what path they would take to them. No path turns red. So, that means they may not be a threat just yet. Let me see. Midoriya at least thinking about it. How can he make a stealth? How can he stealthily get over to them? That's it. Midoriya at least putting his hand on Intelli's shoulder. And whispering in her ear that he believes that they are being followed. And telling her to disappear into the crowd and then at least meet him over at this store. And talk to the management. Stay around them. Find a security guard. That will be quite easy. He will come find her once he is sure that he's taking care of the problem. Until confused, but following Midoriya's instructions. Midoriya at least handing her one of his firearms in case something does happen. A small little compact one that could be easily mistaken for a wallet. if you don't pay attention to it. Now, as Natalie does do that, Midoriya and her do disappear into the crowd. As the person does go looking out of the alleyway, or, well, behind the wall they're at, confused as they're looking for the target. Until Midoriya does grab them by their shoulder, the person jumping and going to turn around and fight Midoriya. However, Midoriya immediately throws a punch directly into this person's face and does then slam them into the wall, and bring a gun up, holding it directly into their nose, as he just pressed down a little bit. So you're the one who's been following us. I saw you in the library. Oh my. Well now. It appears my cover's been blown. Then again, the person at least pointing something at Midoriya. Midoriya looking down and watching where the gun is pointed. A place below the belt, telling Midoriya that he might want to back off. Well, this is an interesting development. Oh, you're telling me. I didn't think I was being, well, too obvious. But apparently I was. Now, I recommend you take your hands off of me. I'm not after her. Really. Midoriya actually at least backing away, as he does still have his gun held up to the person's face, telling them to let him check her eyes. Really now? Why is that? You're the shapeshifter, aren't you? Oh, you mean that man? No. In fact, I'm somebody else. Really now? I don't believe you. Midoriya, with his other hand, slowly going to reach for his phone, as he does actually pull it out and then turn on the flashlight, telling the person to let him check their eyes. The person doing it themselves, as they show that they're not wearing contacts. Good. So, you mind explaining to me who you are? Oh my, I'm so sorry. The person listing a name that might be fake, and explaining to Midoriya that her specialized interest is quite simple. She's backup. Backup? Are you kidding me? Yes. It's quite easy to know. What I do is simple. Mr. Shield, he believes that things are escalating quickly. If the man has not targeted his daughter yet, then that means he's planning something. Recently there is talk, or at least possible involvement, with the Russian mafia. So, it means that he might be having people come to his aid, or possibly even the Yakuza. The details are blurry a little bit. Alrighty then. Well, first of all, stop following us. I have everything covered. Oh, do you now? Do you know exactly where Miss Intelli is? I do. Now fuck off. Midoriya says, holstering his weapon, going to walk away. The person saying that Midoriya doesn't view them as a threat, does he? Please. I can dodge the bullet from here. The person holding up the gun, telling Midoriya would he really like to test that theory. Midoriya saying that she doesn't even have a silencer. The shot is going to ring out, and she's going to hit a civilian. She's continental, isn't she? You are a very ballsy man. Then again, I guess that's why you're called the son of Baba Yaga, isn't it? You know me. Yes, and your reputation. Her holstering her weapon, and going to walk away, telling Midoriya that she'll see him around. Now, Midoriya does walk out of the alleyway, and go to find Miss Intelli, as they would continue shopping for a little bit of time before leaving, and eventually heading back to the manor. Now, Intelli, she is going over some of the books that she has found, along with actually enjoying the rest of her day. As we do have Midoriya, who he is actually a bit more annoyed. They spent all day shopping, and because of that, he couldn't even get a proper workout in. as Intelli is in her dining room or, well, her study, reading the books, you do have Midoriya, who is actually at least in a tank top as he is doing one-handed push-ups, telling Intelli that he still doesn't understand why she's going over all those subjects when she doesn't even really know how to lift enough weight to carry a book. Hey, it's true though. You can't even carry what, like 40 pounds, 50 pounds? Hey, come on. That's not fair. Really? What, don't you want to be a pro or something? Well, of course. Yeah, and you think your intelligence is going to get you very far, Miss Intelli. It's not. Midoriya says, doing a push-up once more, telling her that she needs to watch this. Midoriya going on to 5 fingers, his palm up in the air. Miss Intelli watching as Midoriya, he struggles to, but he's able to successfully do a 5-fingered push-up without his palm. The one that he actually does get all the way up, he quickly switches his hands. And Miss Intelli, she actually does watch that. Midoriya's been doing push-ups for a bit of time, and he hasn't even seemed to lose any strength or get tired, as he does eventually jump back up onto his feet. Now, with that happening, Midoriya does actually grab the towel and go to rub the sweat off of his face, as he would walk around the table. I just bit my tongue. That really hurt. Now, as Midoriya does walk around it, he does look at Intelli, as the moonlight is shining in. And it does seem to be quite interesting. Now, Midoriya, he does actually go to turn around. But as he does actually go to move his head, he does see a line appear from somewhere outside the window. And he does actually follow to where it's at, where it does lead. As the line turns red as he looks directly at Miss Intelli, him running straight for her and pushing her out of the way as she hits the ground. Confused as Midoriya actually does go to jump backwards. As he does so, a bullet is fired straight through, blowing off the top of the chair. Midoriya telling her to stay down, as he just throws over the table. Now, as he does so, the windows, they're blasted open, and smoke grenades begin to start pouring into the area. Midoriya telling Intelli to head for her safe room, her confused and surprised. Now, Midoriya, he does actually go to grab his jacket. As he does so, he does holster or put on his knives, along with actually checking his ammunition, and making sure that he won't have to reload for at least 3 guns. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he does then actually do one simple thing. He leads Intelli to the safe room, as the two do go to walk out the door. The entire hallway is covered in smoke grenades, and when Midoriya does actually look outside, he can see men in tactical gear, all trying to move in on the manor. Shit. This is what he was planning? That's not good. You're telling me. Listen. The safe room is about her telling Midoriya the directions. He needs to go left, and then they need to run at least 200 feet. However, with the open windows, that's going to be virtually impossible. Midoriya telling Intelli to hold on, as he does pick her up, and he does open the door slowly, as a bullet is fired and goes straight through the top of the door. Midoriya telling her to stay low, as he does actually move slowly as he's crouched. Now, Intelli is confused as to what Midoriya is doing. However, another bullet is fired, and Midoriya does actually watch it as it does hit very close to where he was. It hitting directly in front of him then quickly bolting off, with Intelli in his arms. The man trying to get another shot off, but he does not even get there. Midoriya running into cover before the man does fire. Now, as that does actually happen, Midoriya, he just keeps running. and he actually does pull one of his guns. Now, he does successfully get Intelli to the safe room. However, that was after he did blast 2 men directly in the face, breaking their gas mask and killing them. Now, as it did actually happen, Midoriya, he put Intelli in the room and then actually closed the door, telling her not to come out unless he gives her the say-so. Now, with that being said, Midoriya does actually walk back over and look at the men, their gear, and what they do look like. Him taking one of the tactical vest off and putting it on himself, as he also does take the weapon, taking both their guns and their ammunition, along with checking them for grenades. Luckily, he found 2. Now, Midoriya does begin to start sweeping the manor, and he does run into a security team or an execution squad. Now, as they're making their way throughout the manor, Midoriya is hiding in cover, as he actually does move out from behind it, using his ability to slow down his perception. As he does so, he just begins to start firing, from his left to his right, as he hits multiple targets and they begin to try and fire back at him. Midoriya quickly doing one thing, as he goes back into cover and the squad tries to move in. Midoriya has 2 bullets left in this magazine, him actually putting the gun around the corner and firing, blindly, as they are aware that Midoriya would have to reload. A couple of men trying to rush him as Midoriya, he actually does peek back around the corner after seeing them, and firing off the other weapon. Them confused as to how Midoriya reloaded so fast. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he also does actually take one of his grenades and throws it, after pulling the pin. It's blowing up and actually beginning to cause a bit of a fire. Now, Midoriya would actually run in and take the gas mask from one of these men, pulling it off their faces as he does put it on himself, and run off. The fire being a good cover, because they didn't know if Midoriya was still behind it. Now, Midoriya does actually check his ammunition. 5 clips left. Okay. So, let's see. Miss Intelli is over there. There's men with sniper rifles outside. There's multiple things going on. If we can make it to my car, I can get her off the property. But first I need to call for backup. Now, Midoriya does go to check his pockets. And he does realize that his phone is not on his person. Shit, where'd it go? Fuck, did I drop it? No. Now, with that being said, Midoriya, he actually does make his way throughout the manor. And he does stealthily get to his room. Now, as he does get there, he does at least put on a suit. His long sleeve shirt and then a jacket before putting on the actual vest again. The suit is armored, and it will provide extra, protection in case he does get shot. Now, he also does at least check underneath his mattress. As he does throw over his mattress, he does look to see the weapon selection, along with the emergency burner phones. Midoriya grabbing one and flipping it open, as he does check and try to call somebody. No service. Shit. Of course. They've thought of everything. Midoriya taking a few more of the weapons, and actually holstering some in places people would not think to check. Now, Midoriya also does at least take a long-bladed weapon. It looks like it could be a hatchet, but I don't think you would really be able to classify it like that. As Midoriya does go to leave the room. Now, Midoriya, he just begins to try and clear the manor, any way he can. Now, Midoriya, he would walk through certain areas, and whenever he can stealthily take out people. Since the smoke grenades are being constantly just thrown into the building, the area is also very very hard to see. Along with that, it doesn't help that the building is now on fire. And Miss Intelli, she does have a bit of a problem. The flames are actually beginning to spread to the area around the safe room, making it unsafe. Ironic. Now, Sayako, she actually does have an idea. She's gonna just leave the safe room and try and find her own place to hide, since this might be a place they do check first in case they do know about it. Her opting to leave, as she can hear gunshots throughout the entire manor, and she does actually walk out in the hallway to see a man dead. Her grabbing his gas mask and quickly putting it on, as she is coughing. Now, she does actually look around, and there are 6 shots that are fired, before there is a small little, well, bit of silence, as an explosion would go off. Now, with that being said, the entire area, it's flat out dark. And, well, Sayako is just trying to walk around, her finding the aftermath of Midoriya, along with actually one single handgun on the floor, as she can hear more and more about it. Now, we actually do have outside, where Midoriya currently is. Him clearing the outdoors as he just simply does fire off his weapon, firing 6 shots from a magnum before throwing the gun down, pulling out a 9mm Beretta with his other hand and just beginning to fire, popping 3 men in the forehead as he actually does go to get behind his car. As he does so, he does just grab 3 grenades, holding them by their pins as he does hold down on the triggers. As he does so, he does throw himself over the car, as he does just throw and lob the grenades, as all 3 of the rings are pulled free and the grenades go flying. Midoriya quickly just jumping back behind his car, as he does hear them go off, grabbing the assault weapon by his side and turning up and firing. Now, Midoriya, he is trying to aim for the snipers, and he actually has hit one of the few that are out there, as he then actually just look where the bullets are coming from, and firing specifically in those directions. One man actually scared whenever he does see that Midoriya with one single handgun, he fired a bullet directly into a sniper. The bullet flying through the air and piercing straight through the sniper rifle scope, and into the man's eye. As the gun does go off, Midoriya actually being able to move out of the way as the bullet does go flying directly into his shoulder. And he actually does go to grab at his arm as he does fall into the ground. Many different people trying to move in and surround Midoriya. However, whenever people do actually go around the car, there's no one there. And they think that Midoriya just ran inside, there being a blood trail. Now, this is what they do think. All of them with their weapons and heading in that way. As we do have Midoriya, who does come out from the other side of his vehicle. And he does just jump over his car and does just begin to stab into every one of the men. Him hitting the arteries in the neck and stabbing to the other one with his other knife. As the men, they are too bundled together. They try and turn around and they misfire, some men hitting each other. As Midoriya, he's just on a bloody rampage, being hit and beaten as he's also shot at. The vest does protect him. And, well, this is whenever one man does actually come running in, and does grab Midoriya. Him almost tackling Midoriya to the ground, but Midoriya was able to turn and quickly stab him directly into his arm. As he did turn around, and with his other hand he punches the man across the face and slashing away at his mouth. Now, the men do just watch, as the man just tackled Midoriya into a burning building. And we do actually have Sayako, who did actually run out and try to find Midoriya. her currently hiding on the side of the house. And Midoriya and the man, they do actually both engage. So, you're the shapeshifter, aren't you? Yes, yes I am. Now it's time for me to kill that girl and, well, go after the other High Table members. I doubt it. Now, you though, you are somebody I've been waiting for. Midoriya tossing down both his blades, as he does throw off the body armor, taking off his jacket and then his shirt, saying that he's lucky that this stuff is pretty bulletproof. Sure, the areas are going to be sore, but hey. Cracking your rib is better than having a hole through it, right? You are a crazy fucking kid. I respect that. The man doing the exact same thing, as he does bring his hands up. Midoriya and the man rushing at each other, as they both go flying and throwing each other around. Midoriya actually being grabbed and picked up by the man, who does actually go to slam Midoriya through a wall. Midoriya slamming through it as he does actually just jab his elbow directly down into the man's shoulder blade. Before he actually does, then at least, with his other hand, throw his hand down into the wound he did cause on the man's other shoulder, being able to jab his thumb into and actually pop something out of place within his own body. The man screaming out in pain as he does actually go to grab away at it. Midoriya bringing his hands up and smashing the man directly across the face. The man actually going off-footed. Midoriya bringing up his left leg and pulling the man by the back of his left knee. Or his right knee, my bad. And smashing the man across the face with his left hand, as the man goes flying onto the ground. Midoriya smashing away at this man's face. Left, right, left, right. The man trying to at least bring his left hand up and hit Midoriya. Midoriya bringing his right arm up and at least blocking the blow with his arm. Before he does just do one thing. He does look around, and he does grab the knife he does have. Before he does just stab it downwards into the man's side, pulling it out and stabbing it in once more. Before he just keeps going. And eventually we do have outside the manor. Sayako, she almost gets caught. However, a gunshot is heard, and she does just close her eyes. However, the man that almost caught her, he goes falling onto the ground limp. And then there is another sound. Another man hits the ground limp. Sayako confused and looking out. As she then does look around more, trying to pinpoint where that person is. Finding out that they'd be over there. Now, Sayako, she thinks that the person might be on their side, but she does not want to take the chances. Now, as she actually does go to hide behind Midoriya's car, since the area is now clear, she does go to open the door. And then she does actually close the door when she is inside. As she does wait, her turning and watching her home burn. Until one thing does happen. Izuku Carter comes walking out. And he's covered in wounds, bruises, and what seems to be blood and ash. As he does hold the knife in his hand, looking up. Now, with that being said, this is whenever police and emergency services do actually begin to swarm the property. And where they do see Midoriya come out the front door, police officers do instruct him to put his hands up, and that he is under arrest. Midoriya putting his hands up as he does just drop the knife and just begin to start moving forwards. Now, as that does actually happen, Midoriya, he is arrested. And Intelli does actually give her statements, whenever the police officers do find her. However, this is a very bizarre circumstance. What the hell happened here? And how did this kid get involved? The strange men in uniforms, weapons, they're all untrackable. They ran the serial numbers, but they don't exist. Now, with all that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. I'll catch you guys in the next part.